some news and notes here. We got a lot of it. All right, Skylar Thompson looks like he is almost certainly going to start for the Dolphins. We're going to preview that game later, but 5-second answer. Are you starting any Dolphins this week?
Tyreek and Raheem Mostert.
Tyreek and maybe Mostert.
Cooper Rush is likely starting, but Dak Prescott said he felt great throwing yesterday. You should still expect Cooper Rush this week at Philadelphia.
They ruled out Dak Prescott.
They did?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then, Cooper Rush is starting. Baker Mayfield hasn't been ruled out. Seems unlikely that he'll play, but he hasn't been ruled out. Aaron Rodgers has a thumb issue. They don't think it's serious. He should play. Russell Wilson expected to play Monday night at the Chargers. Carson Wentz is playing tonight. Mac Jones was limited in practice, and Jameis Winston was making some progress as well. So we'll keep an eye on those situations. Running back news. So here's what it looks like for the Cardinals. There is no Darrell Williams this week. There is no Jonathan Ward. He's on IR. James Conner is questionable. Oh, yeah. If you're making a decision, Eno Benjamin versus you obviously, I think you have to start. Well, you tell me, David Montgomery or a Washington running back. What do you do?
That's no hesitation. I'd start Montgomery.
What about a Washington guy?
So I don't think there's anybody in Washington's backfield that is slam dunk must start. I'm actually my favorite. I think this could be a Brian Robinson game. Wouldn't surprise me. But I think I'd wait it out with Benjamin.
Okay.
More upside.
Yeah, and I mean, compared to the guys last week in the Washington backfield, is Benjamin really going to be that much worse than what those guys were? Even a
I think one of them will score. My guess and my hope would be Brian Robinson.
Jonathan Taylor missed practice. Nyheim Hines was limited, so it could be Deion Jackson and Phillip Lindsay this week against Jacksonville. It's another game we're talking about today. Saquon Barkley has the shoulder injury. He was limited in practice. Looks like he's going to play. They don't seem too concerned about it. He came back in that game last week. Raheem Mostert sat with a knee injury. That's the other thing. You said start Raheem Mostert. We do have to keep an eye on that because he did miss practice on Wednesday, which is not uncommon.
I think that's more of a Veteran Day thing.
Damian Harris was limited.
That's a huge surprise.
That is, yeah. Big surprise. I already heard Heath talk about Ramondre Stevenson. So,
well, I think Chris had tweeted about this, like when they said he was going to miss a couple weeks. He said, okay, so Damian Harris is definitely going to be limited all week and questionable on Sunday morning.
That's just but he was actually at practice, though. Like, for what the expectation was, when I saw that he was at practice, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive that he was actually out there.
That's the same thing that happened with Mac Jones last week, that he was even considered an option when there were reports that he had a severe high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
And Tyrion Davis-Price practiced in full, and just a quick question on that. Do you think with Kevin Coleman already in the mix a little bit now, and TDP was being used in short yardage before his injury, is this a threat to Jeff Wilson?
The threat to his touchdowns.
Yeah. I think I pulled back a little bit, maybe from like RB6 to RB8.
Okay. Wide receivers. Devontae Adams could be facing a suspension for shoving a photographer. He's on a bye this week. Then he has Houston in week 7. Russell Gage and Julio Jones missed practice. Chris Godwin was limited. We're expecting Godwin to play. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle practiced in full. Drake London practiced. Isaiah McKenzie is going to play this week. He's about 50% rostered. Might be a good option for you this week at the Chiefs. T. Higgins missed practice. We got to consider Higgins legitimately questionable, I would think, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, and Chris Olave all missed practice. It seems like Olave is making good progress in the concussion protocol. But I also think with the new concussion protocol, you're going to see a lot fewer players. I don't think this is definitely going to be the case. You're going to see a lot fewer players coming back the following week. I was listening to Dr. Chow talk about this, and he said that we had seen about 50% of players who left with concussions play the following week. And you can expect that number to go down. Zay Jones missed practice. Keenan Allen's day-to-day. They've got the Monday night game. We'll see if he's practicing today. Deontay Johnson was limited. Kadarius Toney missed practice. Wan'Dale Robinson was limited. Wan'Dale Robinson, 10% rostered. Tight ends. Logan Thomas will not play tonight. We'll keep an eye on Dalton Schultz. Kyle Pitts looks like he's going to play. Tyler Higbee and Cooper Kupp and Aaron Donald, they all missed practice for precautionary reasons. They should be fine. Dawson Knox was limited. He might get back this week. Cameron Brate making progress through the concussion protocol, and Pat Freiermuth was limited. Zach Gentry, the guy who replaced Freiermuth, missed practice with a knee injury. Teron Armstead, left tackle for the Dolphins. He may not play this week. The Rams are going to be without 2 starters on their offensive line this week against Carolina. And defensive injuries to keep an eye on. Xavier Howard is questionable, Miami's cornerback. I think he expects to play, but he expected to play last week too, and he didn't. Justin Simmons, Denver's star safety, he has a chance to play this week at the Chargers. Tampa Bay is all beat up in the secondary, but it looks somewhat promising for them. Jacksonville has got 2 defensive tackles that missed practice yesterday. Pittsburgh's secondary is a mess. Marshawn Lattimore missed practice. And the Giants good news for them, could be getting some key players back this week, including defensive tackle Leonard Williams and cornerback Adoree Jackson.